Welcome to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Yo, it's the Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio. And it's Monday. And it's positively Monday. And it's positively Pipeman. And we have our pet health guru that's supposed to be coming on soon. Bill from the Pet Health Cafe and from My Paleo Pet. But in the meantime, I just got back last night from Montreal. Vans Warped Tour Montreal. Oh my God, what an awesome festival. I'll tell you first, I will say that I'm very happy. Juan, come on, Studio Nut. I must say that I'm very happy that, basically it was a 2-day festival. I say let's go back to 2-day festivals, 3-day festivals. That fourth day that we've started after COVID, that's extra. Because you have 4 days plus a pre-party, that's 5 days, 2 days traveling. So that's a whole week for a festival. And it is draining. And man, the 2 days was like beautiful. Fly in, fly out, done. We did 21 interviews. And I have to tell you too, is that this festival was the easiest festival I've ever had to get to. Because my hotel, literally, you walked out the hotel across the street to the metro, got on the metro over to the island because it's on an island in Montreal. It was pretty amazing because I'm like thinking to myself on the metro, I'm like, oh, when I get off, I hope I can find it. And how long am I going to have to go to find media credentials? Man, I got off the metro and it was staring me in the face as soon as I got off. That was a beautiful thing. So there was no wandering, no wondering, no figuring anything out. It was set up so perfectly. And that's why Warped Tour was so great and is great again. I'll tell you something else that's cool about Warped Tour is that you don't know who's going to play at what time until 11 a.m. that day. So scheduling's a little off because they don't know really when their set time is. It used to be with Warped Tour, they didn't know at all. So, because the bands, it's like a tour. And so you would just go in as media, sign up that morning for whatever interviews you wanted, because that's the only time you would know when they're doing interviews. This one was a little different where I was scheduling them ahead of time, but there were windows. They knew they were playing in certain windows. So we kind of had to guess and kind of roll with it, and there were some things that had to be changed around. But I have to tell you, I have to give so much kudos to the Sin. They were the ones that were handling the promotion of Warped Tour, but more importantly, they were handling the media tent. And, I have my favorite people that run media and then others that, you're either they don't do a good job or you're on your own, sink or swim. And I have to tell you, these people, oh my God, they rate towards the top. Okay. And so helpful, great to chat with, great people, and really work very hard to make our job as media easier. And that is so important to me. And so, basically it was a great experience. I didn't even have a chance to really be drained. Those 4 days, sometimes by the end, I'm like, oh, and Juan can testify right now. How good is my voice now after only a 2-day festival compared to the 4-day festivals?
Sounds like you didn't even go.
I know, right? It's great.
Your voice is not gone. You're not stuffy.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is I wasn't at all till today at home. Okay, so I actually literally woke up in the middle of the night and changed my air conditioning filter in case that's what it was. But it It is funny. I didn't really get the festival flu unless I'm having it now a little bit, but not bad. And yeah, I didn't even have a chance to lose my voice or get totally drained where, I need some recovery time. So that's pretty cool. And I have to tell you, like, what a community Warp Tour is. Like, this community is like a big family, and everybody's cool, and all the bullshit in the world is left outside. And inside, we're just there to have fun. A lot of great bands played. We had a lot of great bands that I talked to. All in all, Warp Tour, Montreal, highly recommend. Like 5 million stars. Okay. Great festival. I was more than happy to be a part of it before and after. And so, man, that's some cool shit. It was a lot of fun. And it felt like I was just going away for the weekend. And I was even back on Sunday. So it's like I like when I'm back on Sunday, because then when I'm back on Monday, it's almost like I lose a day, whereas back on Sunday, it's just like, I just took a weekend and went somewhere. And what better place to go to Montreal? Because I love that city. And I love the Canadians. They're so nice. They're sorry about everything.
Now, do you think that because they're Canadian, it was different than some of the other ones that you have gone to in other parts of the world? Like the nice thing, like, does that make a difference?
Yes and no, because here's what I find in the community of this type of music, whether it be metal or punk, which Warped Tour had both, it's the community, it's the people. We're a different breed. Everybody looks like they're these scary people and evil people. And really, they're just big teddy bears. And like, even with the mosh pit, like, the mosh pit's supposed to be fun. And if somebody falls, you pick them up. And then everybody has a big group hug after a mosh pit. Like, it's not like being in South Florida going to a country show where just recently it happened that there was a fight that broke out. You got these people that drinks a lot of Jack Daniels, and then there's too much testosterone, and they feel the need to fight. Metalheads and punks don't feel the need to fight because they do the mosh pit where you're not really fighting, but you're getting all your angst out, you're getting all your issues out, and you're just cool, and nobody's an outsider. Like, there are no weirdos. Now, something did happen at Warped Tour that was the second time ever in history that happened. Okay, so there's this band, Oxymorons. And one time during an interview, we literally in the middle of the interview switched shirts because I really liked their shirt, their merch shirt that the guy was wearing. And he really liked my shirt. So we switched shirts. Mine was like some festival shirt, It's always for me the one of a kind stuff. It was like this one of a kind festival shirt. And we switched during the interview. Well, this time I was making a comment about with this band, with their shirt, because they were wearing their record label shirt. Okay. And Oxymorons did play at Warped Tour. It was funny because I was wearing their shirt, but on the day they weren't playing, because when you Googled it, because nobody knows when they're playing, the Google said Sunday, but they actually played Saturday. So I'm glad it happened the way it did, or because Saturday's when I gave away the shirt. I would have gave away that shirt, but that would have been kind of fun, the shirt kind of floating around the world. But this time I was wearing a shirt, another one of a kind. I'm trying to see if I can even get another one, because I think it doesn't even get made anymore. And it's from this Sophia Lancaster Foundation, which is the goth girl that, she left the show and she got jumped and killed for being goth, for looking different. It's fucking stupid. Okay. So Bloodstock does this whole thing with the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, with a stage dedicated to Sophie Lancaster. On Saturdays, everybody in the whole festival wears pink in honor. And then Sophie Lancaster Foundation has a booth there and they sell merch. Luckily, I bought their new merch this year. And so then I had this shirt that I bought a few years ago that says Weirdo Mosher Freak. And so that's the shirt this band member got. Okay. So I'm not going to tell you any more details because you're going to have to check out the interviews. that we did at Warp Tour, so you can hear which band it was, because it's live during the interview. So the interviews are going to be up very soon on all the podcast outlets, on the Adventures of Pipeman.com, and you will have to listen to interviews. And here's what I'm going to do. You listen to those interviews and you tell me in my socials, okay? Pipeman Radio, go to all socials, DM me, tell me which band it was that I did a shirt swap live during the interview at Warp Tour Montreal, and you will be entered to win your choice. Rocklahoma tickets is final chance for Rocklahoma tickets. That's coming up next on the Pipeman Radio Tour, or Aftershock coming in October to Sacramento. Your choice. You could win tickets to either one of those by listening to my interviews, finding out which one where I did the shirt swap, and DMing me that answer. And the sooner, the better. Okay, so keep an eye out to anywhere you listen to podcasts, The Adventures of Pipeman or Pipeman in the Pit, or go to theadventuresofpipeman.com, or you can even go to talk4media.com to one of my shows, and you will be able to listen to those interviews. Now, it's getting really late for Bill. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to call him because he didn't even answer my text, I don't think. Nope, he sure didn't. Let's give him a call. No, not a FaceTime. Why you try and make me do a FaceTime? Okay, there it is. Because today, pet owners are supposed to beware. Hello? Yeah, we're waiting for you on the show. We're live, and you're not there.
I'll be there in 2 minutes.
All right. The pet health guru is coming. The pet health guru is coming. In the meantime, you know what, Juan? Let's roll some Rocklahoma and some Aftershock commercials so people see what they can win.
It's here, Rocklahoma, celebrating its 20th anniversary, and for the first time ever, Slayer, and the return of Godsmack, and Papa Roach. Rocklahoma is back Labor Day weekend, September 4th through 6th, with Slayer, celebrating the 40th anniversary of Rain and Blood, Godsmack, Papa Roach, also Stone Temple Pilots, The Pretty Reckless, Black Label Society, Jet, Wolfmother, Hollywood Undead, Dropkick Murphys, and Cypress Hill. Rocklahoma 2026, 20 years. Slayer, Godsmack, Papa Roach, Stone Temple Pilots, Cypress Hill, and so many more. Labor Day weekend, September 4th through 6th in Pryor, Oklahoma. Go to www.rocklahoma.com for all ticket and festival information. Don't miss Labor Day weekend's #1 rock and roll party, Rocklahoma.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil, plus Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, and more. Aftershock, October 1st through 4th. Passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down at AftershockFestival.com.
Yes. Aftershock is one of my favorite festivals to do. Rocklahoma is my one festival that I definitely always camp for because it's the most fun camping festival there is on the Pipeman Radio Tour. Like, there's strip club campsites. There's, free shots on makeshift bars. There's even buses, boobs, and buttholes. Gotta check out that bus. Oh, look, the pet health guru finally arrived. He looks all okay. I was saying he looked kind of pale there for a second, right, Juan? Because he was all white, So let's bring the pet health guru on. Hello, pet health guru.
Hello.
Cool. So We did our recap.
Can you hear me?
Vans Warped Tour. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Set your headphones.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, you can hear me
probably
now.
hear your dog too.
I think I might have heard it
Yes.
there, but that's okay. This is the pet health guru segment, so pets are allowed. It is where pets have a voice. Forget the humans. Pets have a better voice anyway.
That's right. And we make sure that they're heard.
That's right. So anyway, to just finish off what I was saying to everybody, again, reach out to me, Pipeman Radio on all socials. Check out the interviews from Vans Warped Tour from this weekend. Tell me which interview I swapped shirts with another band. Okay? And the shirt is a record label shirt. Stomp Records. So gotta make sure to check it out. And I'm not going to tell you the band. You got to tell me the band so you can win your choice. Rocklahoma or Aftershock on the Pipeman Radio Tour. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. And we're going to talk about pets. Because pets are cooler than humans for the most part. And but you pet owners, you need to beware. Pet health group, they need to beware.
There's so many dangers out there for our pets that we think we're doing the right thing with. And that's where the danger lies. We've got medical professionals that have no clue about foods, diets.
I think your dog is
medications,
translating
side effects,
for
all
you.
of that.
I think your dog's translating for you in the background because as you're talking, it's like the sign language people at concerts.
Yes, exactly. That's what she does. She's telling me what to say, what kind of challenges that she doesn't have to succumb to when most of her contemporaries are being bombarded every day.
So tell us about some of those things that maybe people don't even realize are a danger.
Well, I mean, first off, let's look at chemicals. Yard chemicals, household chemicals, sprays, deodorants, perfumes, makeup. Women all the time with their makeup and the dog's licking their face. What did they just ingest? This is the kind of things that nobody thinks about because all this stuff is invisible. EMFs, the same thing. Chemtrails. Nobody looks up at the sky. Nobody cares about that stuff. But yet, our animals, their hearing is 100 times, 1,000 times more sensitive than ours, as is their nose. And we're bombarding those senses on those dogs. And then we wonder why they're acting screwy and, bad behaviors and all of that. It's just they're fighting it 24/7.
Yeah.
Then if we throw in the nutrition part of it, the bad food, which I was telling somebody over the weekend, doctors, veterinarians, they don't study, very few study any kind of nutrition. And nutrition isn't food. Nutrition is the scientific formulas behind it. Production, how it's handled, how it's processed is much more important than the actual vitamin content of something. Because if it's not in a usable form, it's no good for us anyway, or our dogs and cats.
So I have a question real quick before we go on to the rest of it. I'm speaking for Juan. I'm his translator right now. And basically, does that also hold true for his guppy, that like the toxic things that fish get exposed to if you have fish in the house?
Absolutely, because that water is absorbing the gas around it as well. So if you've got, if you're using essential oils, different cleaners in your house, that sort of thing, that's being absorbed into the water, and it can have a nasty effect on the inhabitants of that fish tank as well. One of the things about nature though, and living things, is we do have a certain amount of adaptivity that we can adapt and fight off some of this stuff. But in the long run, it still gets us all.
So, question is then, okay, so a lot of humans that use essential oils, they say it's for good health. Is it really for good health? And is it good health for our pets?
To be honest, most of them are not, because they're highly processed. I mean, I know some they claim, the companies that make this stuff claim that they're safe for animals, they're safe for use on people, but the actual studies show the opposite. It's, it's basically, it's like everything else around us. It's all superficial. It's cosmetic, if you will. It's cosmetic in the fact that it's a good, clean smell. Does it have some therapeutic effects? Some might not. They're going to be minimal at best. When we look at pharmaceuticals as a whole, on the medical side, all of them came from essentially plant-based at some point in time. And the first step from that was the essential oils. So we're taking and trying to duplicate and magnify something in an essential oil that's normally found in nature. And for what reason? Make money. Something different.
Yeah. So what are your suggestions for pet owners so they don't have to be so beware or worried?
Well, we did a whole program on the Pet Health Cafe again on the holistic way. And number one is making sure that the environment is clean as possible. You doing your part of doing the investigation, reading labels, that sort of thing, on not only food, but cleaning products. Just because a company says they're a clean, green, eco-friendly company doesn't really mean that. It just means that might be less dangerous than, the next guy. That's all it really is. So you start out that way, and then you don't panic. Most of the what we call diseases and health issues and challenges that we have are not diseases. They're basically symptoms of an event that's going on. And when I say an event, it's usually a short-term, like a 24-hour flu. You can take medications for it, but guess what? It's still going to be 24 hours, no matter what you do. And actually, you've lowered the ability, the immune properties of your body by taking those medications, and actually can prolong that 24-hour flu to 48, 72, 96 hours, and have other side effects along with it, like the diarrhea and vomiting and everything else that drugs cause.
So, Juan, what questions do you have for the Pet Health Guru about this subject that we're talking about?
Well, is there anything I have to be aware of with the guppies? I mean, that's the only thing that really matters to me. Hashtag guppies, not puppies.
That's right.
So there is one thing I have noticed. There's one thing I have noticed when I first started the hobby, because this is technically like a hobby, the aquarium business. I used to get all the chemicals for the water, to treat the water, to make sure that like all the pH levels were safe and everything. I switched from that because it was killing them like slowly. Like every time I would add chemicals, I would see like a couple of them like turn out dead like a day or two later. I switched from that to just using beneficial bacteria and letting the tank cycle and adding more natural elements like grass, moss, driftwood, and all these other things that can contribute to the pH and everything else. And they've been thriving ever since.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned that, because when I started my career, that was one of the areas that I was very proficient in and helped develop a lot of the systems. Prior to that, you had a little box with a little bit of polyester foam in it and some charcoal. That was the whole filtration system. And then, of course, we got into the biological filters with the undergravels and things of that nature, working in conjunction with multi-stage external filters. And that was a whole game changer right there. Everything changed. The water chemistry remained fairly neutral. We didn't have to use a lot of chemicals. And then, of course, modern times, we decided to go back to all chemicals, and that's what creates a lot of the problems.
But if you look at like man-made lakes, even, right? Like we don't maintain those, and there's still fish thriving in there, even though we don't put chemicals to clean the water. So, like, why would we be doing that to our pets, in the aquarium hobby?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you look, you have here in South Florida, we have problems quite often with, massive algae blooms and that sort of thing. They kill off literally thousands and thousands of fish. And what's the cause of it? Fertilizer from, the sugar plantations and that sort of thing, where they're over-fertilized, over-sprayed, over-treated, and that works its way down through the ecosystem into the water, and, in nature, then we're battling it. I mean, just even building Tamiami Trail across Florida changed the whole ecology of the Everglades, because now we had a dam keeping the water going from where it's supposed to go. And of course, they built a whole series of canals and that sort of thing that dump all that wastewater into the estuaries.
So, Pet Health Guru, how can people reach out to you for more info on My Paleo Pet, Pet Health Cafe, and basically everything that you do?
Well, of course, start out with, and this is actually your best starting point, is to go on to the Pet Health Cafe on YouTube, Spotify, any of the major things on these stations here, and start learning about what we teach. And then, of course, taking that as a guide, go over to My Paleo Pet, see the products that we have, mypaleopet.com. Come into the store for a consultation or a phone consultation. Those are both available through the website. I'm in store, at least 4 days a week. So, you can always come in and have a personal conversation with me, always willing to help. And, we actually will evaluate where your animal is health-wise in a way that the medical community doesn't even think about. It's not about adding more chemicals. It's about adding pure natural products that will help the body heal itself. Because the medicines don't heal anything. The body has to heal itself, has to fix itself. It's a regenerative machine. And we just we have to give it the right tools and get out of the way, let it do its job.
Is there any other final words you want to give our people out there that they need to be aware of, and any other, healthy advice for them, for their pets?
Well, like you said, the first thing is these are a lot of these health issues and challenges or events. Don't panic, because that's the worst thing you can do is, when you get hysterical, you go to the ER and they load up with drugs and everything else. And in many cases, that ailment would have been gone in 24 hours. I mean, emergency care is one thing, if there's a serious accident or injury. But as far as these little things, use common sense. I know that's a very, very foreign term today, but we innately know what we're supposed to do. We just ignore it and think of what the so-called experts tell you.
All righty. Well, as usual, you're a wealth of information. You are a pet health guru. And everybody make sure to check out My Paleo Pet. Check out Pet Health Cafe. World of information, world of help. And you can even order products no matter where you are. And Bill will take care of it for you. And everybody make sure, check out my interviews from Vans Warped Tour Montreal. And the one that and talks about me trading shirts during the interview, and let me know what band it is, and you'll have a chance to win tickets to Rocklahoma or Aftershock. Your choice. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here on Positively Pipeman, and stay tuned. We'll have more going on this week, so keep watch for the Pipeman. Thanks for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman, W4CY Radio. Roll it, Juan.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.